Hello, my lovely viewers. Today I'm excited to share my thoughts with you on something that has become a very important part of many of our lives. Yes, vlogging. Join me as we explore this impact of vlogging. Basically, you might wonder, how have I begun the video like this, in a video where you are expected to be having something related to the poem Ode to a Nightingale. Now, there is something that I found similar between vloggers and John Keats the poet. Basically, when John Keats or any poet has written a poetry or any author has composed a work of art, they do that because they want to preserve beautiful moments of their life through art. In this case, it is poetry, or you will see painters making paintings. We have also seen Saurav Joshi making beautiful portraits of people during the lockdown period, and all the other vloggers that you are seeing on the screen, you might have been viewers of some of them, or you may not have been, and you can go and explore. This is not a paid promotion whatsoever, but I'm just trying to tell you a thought that came to my mind while I was making and working on the video on Ode to a Nightingale. That is, what John Keats and the other writers and poets in works of literature were doing is something that is being done in a different manner by these vloggers. The situation has changed, but the idea remains the same. That is, through vlogging, and many of them have even mentioned it in their vlogs. I'm also a dedicated viewer of some of them. They mention it that vlogging is something that they've started now. They might be relevant to the audience now, or they may not be relevant to their audience in the future, but it is something that they will continue doing because they will have a record of beautiful moments of their life. They can capture it through videos, and at the same time, if they are sharing it with you, what is the harm, right? So we will see in this video how there is a close connection in the idea of John Keats and these YouTube vloggers. Hello well-wishers, and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to do a poem called A Red Red Rose, written by Robert Burns. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin this poetic journey. Hello well-wishers, and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to do a very popular poem written by the romantic poet John Keats called Ode to Nightingale. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin this beautiful journey. John Keats was a famous English romantic poet, and he was known for writing very well-known poems. His life was marked by tragedy because in the early years of his life, he lost his parents, including his brother as well. Despite these hardships, Keats pursued his career in poetry, becoming one of the most celebrated romantic poets of his time. His poetry often explores themes of beauty, nature, and human experience. Ode to a Nightingale was composed in the year 1819 during a period of Keats' life which was marked by personal and financial struggles. The poem therefore reflects this tension between the fleeting nature of beauty and the quality of art. That is, beauty is temporary. It is there today, it may not be the same as yesterday, right? But art is something that can aptly and accurately preserve beauty as it is. The nightingale in this poem is a symbol of beauty and song, and serves as an inspiration or a muse for Keats as he thinks about the shifting, transitory nature of life. So basically, the poem tries to revolve around a contrast between the nature of human existence and the eternal beauty that you can find in art, that you can preserve in art. In stanza 1 of the poem, the speaker begins by expressing a sense of pain and sadness, as if he has been consumed by some kind of poison. He is not jealous of the nightingale's happiness, but he is rather deeply touched by it. The nightingale in the poem is described as a light winged dryad singing in a beautiful setting of the green scenario, right? It's a beach and greenery all around. So the sensation that is felt by the poet is compared to having drunk hemlock or a dull opiate. That is, when you drink poison, or if you drink something which is of alcoholic nature, you have a sense of lethargy. The speaker here refers to the mythical Lethe river, which was associated with forgetfulness, suggesting that the poet has a desire to escape from the daily life. The pain that he is experiencing is not due to the jealousy of Nightingale's happiness, but because the speaker is too overwhelmed. He is deeply touched by the joyful song of the nightingale, and that is why he wants to escape the reality and live in a world in which the nightingale also lives. In stanza 2, we see the speaker is craving, he's yearning for a sip of vintage wine that has matured in the earth. It is full of the essence of nature and happiness. He wishes to escape reality by drinking this wine and fading away into the forest along with the nightingale. So that is why we see him saying that the wine that he will drink is a wine that has grown, it has matured in earth. It contains flora, which is the goddess of flowers. It has an essence or a touch of the countryside and the lively provençal song. The desire for the beaker full of warm south filled with blushful Hippocrene. Hippocrene was a poetic fountain where all the poets would go to seek inspiration. All this symbolizes that the speaker has a wish to be intoxicated and have a break, a retreat from reality. He wants to drink and vanish into the forest along with the nightingale, leaving the world unseen and unnoticed. The desire of the speaker to escape from reality continues. He says, "Fade far away, dissolve, and quite forget what thou among the leaves has never known. The weariness, the fever, and the fret here, where men sit and hear each other groan." So here he is telling about why he wants to escape reality. It is as if he is having a conversation with the nightingale, and he is saying that he wants to fade away, dissolve, forget the tiredness, the sickness, the complaints that human beings have when they are living on earth. This is actually a contrasting image from the world of the nightingale, because here he is describing that he lives in a world where people groan, they complain. There are people who have sickness like the paralysis. They have to give up their wishes and desires and submit to the duties, responsibilities, the happiness, as well as more the sadness of life. So over here, the poet basically, or the speaker basically, portrays youth, the youth phase of a person's life, as being pale, very thin and weak, where even the act of thinking is burdened with sorrow. Beauty cannot endure and love is short-lived. Now I'll tell you one deep fact about this. Basically, John Keats was a very young person when he was writing this, but at a very young age he had suffered from tuberculosis. It was a very sickly disease at that time, and there was no cure to it, right? So he had literally been terribly sick, and it is perhaps while he was still trying to recover from this sickness, he was writing it. That is why you see a little negative, we could say, or a little gloomy, sad kind of perspective coming over here, that he is feeling that the life of the nightingale is better and he wants to escape the reality and go and unite with the nightingale. See, here he is expressing the desire. "Away, away, for I will fly to thee. not charioted by Bacchus and his parts, but on the viewless wings of poesy, though the dull brain perplexes and retards. So basically, we see that in stanza 4, the speaker is declaring that he has an intention to fly and unite with the nightingale in his world, and at this time, he is not going to be under the influence of Bacchus, which is the god of wine, but instead, he is going to unite with nightingale through the viewless wings of poesy or poetry. The night is described by the speaker as being tender, with the possibility of the queen moon on her throne surrounded by the starry fays or the starry fairies. The contrast is drawn over here between the darkness of the speaker's current reality and the heavenly light which he thinks is present in the world in which the nightingale lives. So he imagines a tender night with the queen moon surrounded by stars. However, in his current state, there is no light anywhere. In stanza 5, we see that the speaker is in his intoxicated state. He cannot see what flowers are there in his feet, nor can he get the smell of the incense of the flowers in the air. He guesses that it could be the sweet scent of the season. That is, he imagines that perhaps the state of intoxication has made him recognize fragrances like grass, the thicket, the fruit trees, and the musk roses. He listens in the dark. He is enchanted. He is captivated. He is mesmerized. He is finding it very magical to listen to the song of the nightingale, and it is making him think deeply about his peaceful death. So basically, we see over here that listening in darkness to the nightingale's song, he expresses through the imagery of embalmed darkness that he is also reminded that if he continues to listen to the nightingale's song and he is in that world of the nightingale, perhaps he will have a peaceful death. I told you that he was he was not well. He was suffering from a terrible disease at that time. So he thought that death would also be very painful for him. So therefore, he wants a peaceful death, which he thinks he will have once he reunites with the nightingale in the world. In stanza 6, the speaker reflects on the immortality of the nightingale. That is, the poet or the speaker is going to be subject to death, but the nightingale is going to live forever. It is going to be untouched by the cycle of hunger and death, both that affect humanity. The nightingale's song has echoed through history, charming figures like Ruth and opening windows or casements to magical lands. That is what happens when you are deeply touched by a work of art or by any kind of content that you consume. When we watch YouTube videos or we watch vlogs or we watch any kind of comedy shows or movies, what happens? Temporarily you are transported into another world. That is what you and I will understand in today's context. But in Keats' time, the mode of entertainment for people to escape reality was poems, was drama, was literature, works of literature. So he's saying that through the song of the nightingale, one is going to be transported to the magical land, and that is what has been happening in history and is going to be happening even now. So the speaker acknowledges that the nightingale was not born to die. It is an immortal bird. That's why he says, "Thou was not born for death, you immortal bird," which resonates with the voices heard by emperors and the common folk alike. In the past, emperors have always listened to the song of the nightingale. So if they can listen to it and if they have perhaps had a happy life, the poet feels or the speaker feels that if he too will listen to the song of the nightingale, he is going to have a happy life and a peaceful death. In stanza 7, the word forlorn seems to be like a bell signaling a return to reality. The speaker bids farewell to the nightingale's song as the music fades away past meadows, over the streams and into the valley. The uncertainty arises now, and now he is thinking that whatever he just experienced Was it a vision, a waking dream, or reality? The enchantment is lost now. The speaker is now once again in a state of confusion that whether he was awaken up at this time, was he asleep, or what is it that just happened when he was being able to associate and talk with the nightingale bird. So you can imagine how much he must have been intoxicated. And remember, in the poem it is intoxication by way of poison or whatever, but in real life he was intoxicated because of the heavy medication that John Keats was in. So you have to see that how his personal life is also spilling into the poem that he was composing at that time. Finally, we see that the speaker acknowledges the nightingale's immortality and the timeless quality of its song. The passing night echoes with the voices that reach the heart of Ruth in a foreign land and charmed magic casements in fairy lands forlorn. The speaker bids a farewell, realizing that the enchantment cannot cheat as well as it famed to do. The plaintive anthem fades away, leaving the speaker in uncertainty. Whether awake or asleep, the music is over now, and the poem concludes with a sense of ambiguity, both for the speaker as well as the readers. Let us now have a look at the major themes of the poem. First is transience of life. Keats explores the fleeting nature of human existence, that is, life and death is not in the human control. We come into our life with God's will and we also die with God's will, and therefore the poem is a contrast between the enduring beauty of art and nature. That is, the poem deals with the idea that art, especially poetry, has the power to transcend time and grant immortality to the moments of beauty. This is such a thoughtful thing, I mean, I cannot even imagine. People make paintings, they write poems, they make movies dedicated to special people, special moments of their life. Why? Because they want it to be cherished and live forever. In today's times, we see a common trend, a common system of making vlogs on YouTube. I have seen many YouTubers saying it upfront on the camera that they do it because they want to preserve their moments, and they are also simultaneously sharing with us, the viewers. So you see how the idea is the same then and now. Just the situation, the context has changed. And finally, we see escapism, that is, the desire to escape the harsh realities of life, is a common theme that constantly reoccurs with the Nightingale song representing an idealized refuge. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.